And welcome to Back to Say It Is with Brendan and Tyler. You got stuff for the what's kind of new in the baseball world that you found? I know I have loosely brought up the solo episode I did previously. Would you like to go ahead and share what you wanted to go with?
Well, there were a couple things. One, that the White Sox have clawed their way back from the depths of hell and are now one game out of the playoffs and 1.5 games out from being the division leader.
And that's just because the entirety of the AL Central had lost the game and the White Sox won. I believe that's what happened, correct?
They lost they won 3 in a row against the Angels. They swept the Angels because the Angels are bad.
Well, yeah, the Angels are bad. You could look at Artie Moreno. Artie Moreno just cannot run a franchise at all. Now, before we continue, this episode we are doing is over Google Meets because in a couple of weeks we have a very special guest who needed to do the episode remotely. So, if you hear any room differences, then let's say a studio recording, that would explain why. Now back to the main thing, Tyler. So we have someone put up an opinion out there saying the White Sox should trade Murakami. I'd say that's a bad idea.
That is a very bad idea. They should lock him down for multiple years.
Well, their logic behind it, or reasoning rather, is that because he's looking like he's going to be hitting 40 to 50 some home runs a year, hitting somewhere between 240 and 260. So basically like a Schwarber type. As age 26, he would cost $200 million as a grand total.
But that's the whole reason why we should keep him, not get rid of him,
and then have him bat third, fourth, or fifth.
Yeah.
I know Montgomery is batting second or third usually at this point.
Benintendi needs to go.
We established that previously.
We've already established that
multiple times.
Today, though, I didn't know that Montgomery actually hit the winning home run today.
Nice.
So they won 3-2. How about we talk about the Rockies beating the Mets?
Oh, I know, right? Beating them in a doubleheader. Yeah, that's a doozy. Who wants to lose to the Mets like that? Yikes. So if I'm going to open up the box.
Me to the Rockies?
Oh yeah,
the Rockies won.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. They're both bad. One's dysfunctional, the other's just bad.
Who's the dysfunctional one?
Well, so with the Mets, they're dysfunctional, right? Because of the clubhouse dispute between Soto and Lindor. And so there's just a bunch of that place is a mess, which is why they're losing so many games. Over to scores previously. Was this the Monday and Tuesday when this happened?
Yeah.
Oh no, this was Tuesday. I think you sent that to me on Tuesday, where that was the week last week. Either way, yeah, no, that was a doubleheader that the Colorado won, and that's just embarrassing.
Yes.
Colorado is just they're 4-3 for one game, and then that was on the 24th and the 23rd. It was the 20. It was the 24th, 25th, something like that. Either way,
and also in other news, Cincinnati has been on a hot streak.
Yes, they have.
Recently. Not sure what's going on with the Brewers because they're almost in last.
Well, it's they're almost in last, but if you look at the entirety of the the NL Central, everyone has 500 or better record. That division is ending up being the actual bloodbath division rather than the AL East, which everyone expected. Partly because, as I have said in the the previous episode, there's a leadership vacuum going on in Boston. They fired their entire coaching staff after they beat Baltimore by 11 or 12 runs. And then but the game before that happened, they got swept by the Yankees. So I got to check in with Will to see how he's feeling.
Probably not very good.
Yeah, he's he might be punting the season and like so Bregman was a huge leadership thing when he was with Boston last year, right?
Mhm.
And he is now obviously with the Cubs producing, and he has never not been in the playoffs for one season. With Boston, after that he left, uh, that front office had decided to ship away a lot of their talent, and like it's all started back when they traded Mookie Betts to LA. Otherwise, when they did a surprise trade last season to send Devers to San Francisco, and they're just like how many people they've gotten rid of from that team. So there's this giant leadership vacuum. Jason Varitek, one of their coaches, was on the team that ended the 86-year drought of championships, and he's no longer he got like reassigned to a different position or fired, one of the two. Alex Cora got fired, and he tweeted or sent a message about it, and with the happy emoji, he was like, "I am glad." And then after that happened, Philly had fired Rob Thompson from from his managerial position, right?
Yeah.
And they were trying to bring Alex Cora, and Alex Cora was like, "I want to spend some time with the family rather than just jump right back into managing a different team." And Philly is aging out of existence. Like you
Yes.
can see it.
Yes.
Like it's a pretty interesting sight to behold. And I already mentioned the Mets. And then like
I'm surprised the A's are where they are right now.
yeah, I was surprised too. A lot of that is with like their hitting and defense being as good as it is. With them still being a AAA ballpark, their pitching staff is not performing at home, but they're performing away. Now, I would not be surprised if they lose that to Seattle. Seattle is starting to warm up. They typically start the first couple weeks of the season cold, from my understanding. But with Cal is starting to do things. Julio is getting a start to his season earlier than usual. Usually starts up just after the All-Star break. And like he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. But with like the first half he's like a 2-3 win player, but once it hits like end of July, beginning of August, Julio Rodriguez turns into this 9-win player. So if he would just stay at the 9-10 win player for the entire year, he's going to end up winning some MVPs. And he's a damn fine center fielder. Seattle's a fun team to watch. I haven't watched many of their games this year, but I've kept tabs on them. They on the 25th they beat St. Louis 11-0. On the 26th, they beat St. Louis 3-2, and then Monday they had an off. They lost against the Twins 11-4. So how about them Twins? Like they have been. They're like first they were doing okay, then they were sucking up a storm, and now they're like 13-18. And Seattle, who actually just won today, Seattle is at 500, and there's only like 1 day left in the month of April.
And if the White Sox keep going with their win streak, they'll be at 500 by the second week of May.
Yeah, and remember what I said when the season started, or just before the season started, the floor of the White Sox is 90 losses, and their ceiling's going to be like 77 wins, which is pretty close to 500.
I don't think they're going to get 90 losses. I still have hope.
I think they're going to be closer to the. I think they'll be closer to the 77 win marker than the 90 loss marker. Like I do. Or was it 95 losses? Either way, I think they're doing well. And then actually, when heading into the studio this morning to produce Vicky, I was listening to MLB Network, and they had Albert Pujols and a former player who died from like a heart attack when this guy's daughter was 5 years old. But anyways, like she teamed up with Albert Pujols to start this foundation to get people in to do like cholesterol checks, so that way no one else has to. Well, not really no one else, but less people have to go through that, or their kids would have to go through something like that. And I thought that was an absolute amazing interview. Unfortunately, I couldn't finish listening to the interview because I had to get into the studio. But the like that, I thought that was a real. I forget what the foundation is called. Like they mentioned it. It's just escaping me at the moment. If I remember what it was called, I would just type it up. And I forgot what the gal's name is. But still. But before that, they were talking about how St. Louis is actually above expectations. They're performing a lot better. So if we go over to the standings for and look at St. Louis's record. St. Louis is at 16-13, right?
Yeah.
Again, that's better than expected. Now there's only 11 teams in the league with a positive run differential. That would be out of those, like 4 of them are in the NL Central, right? But for the entire league, it's 11 teams. St. Louis is not one of the 4 teams. They have a -9 run differential, but they're like everything is being led by I think Mason Wynn and Weatherholt, and Weatherholt is I think the first baseman. So JJ Weatherholt is okay. So JJ Weatherholt's their second baseman, and
I found the foundation name, by the way.
Ooh, what's the foundation name?
It's not a foundation, it's a program. It
Either way.
is the Playing with Heart educational program.
Okay, yeah, that's what it's called. Either way, I thought that that program's like a very good thing. I wanted to just kind of bring that up because I was like, you guys are great for doing something like that. But yeah, like JJ Weatherholt is like helping lead St. Louis, and they're gonna have more wins than projected. Like probably closer to the ceiling of my project. No, they're gonna be better than my projection for them. In fact, that should be like everything holds up. That should be a good game to go to when we go on the 25th. I know that there's a St. Louis fan engineer who might be tagging along with us, but that would be a more of a exciting. That should be a more of an exciting game, for sure. Otherwise, between the previous episode and this one, I am currently out of stuff. Do you have anything actually you'd like to share?
I got nothing else.
All right. So you can listen to us on Apple, iHeart, Spotify, or on YouTube. You can also go on Substack.
I think most of our downloads come from Spotify, honestly.
Yeah, like a lot of them do, but I know there's some that comes from the others. And it's like we also have like a decent amount of downloads from Substack. And then you can follow our announcement page on Facebook. Go to the Facebook community group. We have a Discord that wouldn't mind to get more action and more people join that. We got the Twitter page. The Instagram page has rarely gets anything opened up on there. So if you really want to follow it, you're welcome to. But again, there's not a ton going on there. I did put up a poll recently that we only had one person vote on. So I'm tempted to put it up again. The question is, how do you prefer getting your baseball content? Would you rather watch, listen, or do you like both but prefer watching, or both but prefer listening? And this is obviously when you're not at the ballpark in person. I'm one who likes both. I like the audio format a little bit more because I get that literally wherever I am. And like baseball is like one of those chill sports where it's like a great thing to have on in the background when you're just doing stuff.
That is true.
Tyler, what do you prefer between that? Because I know you prefer like watching things, but
depends on it depends on the game, and it also depends on. I guess I would rather go see it in person, honestly.
Well, same. And it's like the best way to see ball is in person, or if it's just playoffs at any time in any medium because it's playoffs.
But I think for streaming services, they should just go back to MLB.TV.
Well, I mean, like they're kind of in that process. I know you have individual team packages for when you live in that particular region, but RSNs are on the way out, thankfully. They do need end blackouts though.
Yeah.
I think the idea is having those individual team packages to get rid of those blackouts.
Yes, but they should have just not had the blackouts altogether.
I mean, yeah.
But that's also just how companies work. Sometimes you don't get the games you want to watch, and then if you're in another state, you can't watch it, but you can't watch your home team. So, like if so my dad's in Illinois, he can't watch the White Sox, but he can watch the Brewers.
Right.
Vice versa, we can't watch the Brewers, but with Brewers.tv, apparently we can now.
Right. And I can also just turn on the game at the studio. And I know my dad's thinking about getting it, he just hasn't done it yet. I know, like, for example, like if you look outside of baseball for a moment, as of recording, gas prices went up another 50 cents. I filled up my tank today and I had to manually control it so that way it wouldn't just climb up. So I stopped at about like $30 today.
What was it? What was it at?
Here it was like $4.30.
Was that Quick Trip? Where was that?
That was Quick Trip.
Was that in Fitchburg or was that
on Prairie?
Yeah, 4:30 at Quick.
Yeah,
I know. At the Woodman's.
I haven't checked what it is at Woodman's. That's something you can check. Like, you need to go fill up. Just want to give you fair warning. All right. Yeah, you can go moan about that when we're finished wrapping this up. Anyways,
okay, that's still 380.
Okay. Oh, sweet. Why did I not go to Woodman's? Oh wait, I get rewards at Quick Trip. Anyway,
yeah, but hold on, it doesn't. Okay. So the end of the podcast where I say it as it is, right?
Right.
Okay. So it doesn't need to be a theme. Remember, we established that back when we changed the format of this.
Yeah.
Podcast.
Just say it.
But I'm just gonna say this. It doesn't matter since you had that 5 cents off. 5 cents isn't going to matter right now because that's just going from $4.30 to $4.25.
Yeah,
and whatever. It's over $4.
Yeah. It's like all Iran has to do is just stop it, like attacking stuff, not go after nuclear weapons. Yeah, that's all they have to do is just those two things. Give up the nuclear program, and just because they don't have anything left, stop attacking stuff. And just but no, that's like once they do that, that blockade's over.
But that's my little rant about. I thought they had a ceasefire.
They did, but Iran was like, "I'm gonna go fire stuff in the Strait of Hormuz anyways for a little bit."
So now it's closed again. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it's like, thanks guys. Yeah, fun times. Not. Anyways, yeah, you can follow us on those socials. Of course, you can read and listen. You can read stuff on my Substack. I've gotten a habit of putting my Substack link into the description. So until next time.